Okay, so today I have to open up for you He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Origins Cartoon Collection, Evil-Lyn. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of a complaint that I'm going to make about this figure, so we'll get into that in a minute. But but there's what she looks like in the package. Got the old school shaped Masters Universe bubble right down the little dot in the middle of it, which I believe on the original figures was made to help hold the figure in the package. But with the more modern style with the trays and everything, they don't really need to have that dot in there anymore. But they have it in there anyway because tradition. So I got the label on there. It says Cartoon Collection in the Filmation style. Here's what the back looks like. We got artwork on the back of Evil-Lyn confronting King Randor with the shaping staff. And you see Beastman disguised as King Randor, as seen on the shaping staff, modernizing and celebrating the 80s Masters of the Universe animated series. I don't know how modernize it. I guess it's a modern style figure with all the articulation and everything, but they're still the classic designs. So we can see the cross-cell artwork on the back. I don't have any of these other figures yet. I've seen Web Store in the stores, but I didn't pick them up at the time because I only have so much money, and to me, Web Store, I look at it, and he pretty much just looks like the same Origins figure that I already have. So I'm gonna buy one of these. I'm gonna buy Evil-Lyn. I might get Web Store later if I run across them again. I definitely want to get Clawful and Spikor because I never managed to get either one of those for the regular Origins line, and I always preferred actually the animated design of Clawful. It says press the shaping staff in hand, twist and turn into powerful battle positions. It doesn't mention her wand, but this figure does come with the wand. Anyway, let's go ahead and open it up. And it does have a comic book on the inside that I haven't read yet. So let's have a look at this comic book. It says The Shape of Vengeance. Unfortunately, the comic book was kind of stuck on the corner in the package. I don't know if you can see that, but it did kind of get a little glued just at the very corner. Hopefully that won't cause any problems with the turning of pages. All right, so let's go ahead and read this comic. So we start off with this nice semi-splash page of Skeletor, Evil-Lyn, and Web Store. And it says, hidden in the crystalline passages of the Crystal Sea. What other kind of passages would they be then? An event will take place, one that Skeletor and his cadre of have been waiting on for a long time. Cadre, that's a fancy term for a comic book that came with a toy. Yeah. Are you sure of its whereabouts? My patience is thin. Oh, it will materialize, but we must be quick, lest we lose our chance forever. So there we go. The shaping staff. It's now or never. Through a time-worn haze, a magical weapon materializes for the briefest instant. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that apparently what's her name from Glow and Community? Drawing a blank on her name. I like her as an actress. She's cute. What was her name? Alison Brie. She's gonna play Evil-Lyn in the movie if the movie actually gets made this time. And Camila Mendez, that was Veronica on Riverdale. She's going to be Tila, and they were talking to, for some reason, Jared Leto about being Skeletor. No, don't get Jared Leto. Like for his own sake, don't get Jared Leto because he'll wind up like peeling all the skin off his own face so that he can be Skeletor. He won't let you do makeup to him. He's too method for that. For his own sake, don't let him do it. Anyway, Skeletor has many vices. Procrastination is not one of them. Without hesitation, he seizes the weapon of destiny. At last, the power of the shaping staff! I shall be unstoppable! My first act will be transforming you, Web Store, for the most special of missions. And you see him blast web store with the shaping staff. Using the shaping staff, Skeletor molds web store. He becomes a Grimalkin feline warrior. I need an ancient Grimalkin relic, an ancient statue imprisoning their deity, who I shall bring under my control. Steal into their temple and take it at any cost. And you see the statue here. It actually looks a lot like the original toy of Battle Cat. In the shadows of the shrine, Webstore carried out his master's command. These pages are extraordinarily thick. I want to make sure I wasn't accidentally turning too many as they stuck together. The art looks really nice on this and actually does stay quite on model to the Filmation characters, I think. Grimalkin divinity, let ye be freed from your bonds. Meet your new master. Oh, I like the sound of that. Emerging from its confines, the deity bursts forth, with the Grimalkin monstrosity under the control. Skeletor and Evil-Lyn unleash a black blitzkrieg across Eternian villages. Wow, there's a lot of $3 words in this comic. Whatever a kid reads this is going to be like going for the dictionary afterwards. Remember what Stan Lee used to say when Martin Goodman would tell him, you're putting too many big words in your comics, kids don't know these big words? Well, they can go and ask their parents, and if their parents don't know, they can look it up in the dictionary. It's educational, you see. Anyway, braving the flames of the township, He-Man and his compatriots lead an assault against the eldritch beast. Ow. So, very nice. Splash panel of He-Man, Battle Cat, Teela, Man-at-Arms, Orko. Both Teela and Man-at-Arms have sky sleds, and there's a tower in the back. It looks a lot like the Greyskull Tower. My friends, what has that witch done? Ha ha ha! The masters of the universe are nothing compared to the power of the shaping staff. Now, He-Man, I shall turn you into your true form, an ugly toad. The most noble alliance is easily rebuffed as He-Man and his friends are transformed into harmless bugs. Speak for yourself! He-Man reflects the beam back with his shield, and she winds up getting turned into a toad with a little Evil-Lyn hat. But Cringer just got turned, Battle Cat just kind of got turned back into Cringer, but like a baby version of Cringer. We don't really get a good look at what Man-at-Arms and Teela get turned into, other than, obviously bugs, as was mentioned in the caption. But Orko looks kind of like a bee, and Man-at-Arms looks kind of like a dragonfly, and Teela looks kind of like a ladybug, if I had to guess. And then He-Man gets a hold of this shaping staff and says, "Hey, Skelly, it's time you embraced your sensitive side." And then he turns Skeletor into a butterfly. And Skeletor's like, "I'll get you for this, He-Man!" So whenever I do Skeletor's voice, I'm pretty much just doing the voice of the Monarch from Venture Brothers, because to me those voices sound an awful lot alike. So, if I do the Monarch or if I do Skeletor, I do pretty much the same voice. So it's kind of funny that he turns Skeletor into a deadly butterfly! Unleash the butterflies! Anyway. So then, I'm trying to figure out the order of this. So He-Man turns his friends back into their normal selves. And it says, "Welcome back. It's good to be back. We were going where the wind took us, literally. Leave that to me." Raising the shaping staff heavenward, Orko summoned a thundering tempest. "If this might isn't that which will defeat this mystical monster, it isn't might." I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over this line. "It isn't might that will defeat this mystical monster, but magic." Okay, I should have read this whole panel. I see. This layout is weird. Well, 2 down, 1 to go. Any ideas how to tackle this baddie? Raising the shaping staff heavenward, Orko summoned a thundering tempest. "It isn't might that will defeat this mystical monster, but magic." At least I got the line out this time. And in the heart of the terrible storm, the Grimalkin is exiled back to his stone prison, so he gets turned again back into the old toy of Battle Cat. How did you know that would work, Orko? I recalled from our last battle a thunderstorm was Grimalkin's weakness. After all, no matter a cat's size, they hate water. Womp womp. That probably should have been the last panel, so then that could have been there. Oh, everybody, last moment. Oh, since I still have that head here. This is a really nice panel here with He-Man and Teela. I like the body language on both of them. They're having a picnic, as our heroes are wont to do. Fearing that the shaping staff would again fall into evil hands rather than destroying it so it might rematerialize, Orko sent it to with a steward who would ensure it would be hidden on Tralla. I must say, Skeletor's need for revenge is what got us into this mess. Indeed. If there's a lesson to be learned, it's that vengeance only hurts those who seek it. Forgiveness is more powerful than revenge, always. Remember what James Bond said. If you seek revenge, dig 2 graves. One for the person who you seek to revenge, and the other for yourself. I don't think he was the first person to say that. He's the first person I heard say that. Anyway, few things can compare to a picnic, especially after a hard-won victory. Say, Teela, could you pass the butter? Sorry, but I finished it. Huh, well, I'll forgive your transgression this time. Man-at-Arms takes his butter very seriously. That man does not joke around about butter at all. So we go back to Frog Evil-Lyn and Butterfly Skeletor. Well, you've really done it this time. What do you have to say for yourself? Back in the evil sanctum of Snake Mountain. Ribbit. And she eats him. Let me out! My vengeance awaits! Womp womp. So, yeah. So, it's not the first time that Skeletor's been in Evil-Lyn's mouth, I'm sure. This is not a show for kids. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the toy now. All right. So she comes with 2 accessories and only 2 accessories. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So we have her wand, the iconic wand that Evil-Lyn usually comes with, and it only comes with a short version of the wand. These days, it's pretty common for a figure to come with both a short version of the wand and a longer version, more in the form of a staff. But this one only comes with the wand itself, and it looks like it is molded in a light blue, slightly metallic, kind of pearlescent plastic with the crystal ball painted in a dark navy blue. Not a clear translucent plastic like we're used to these days. A lot of the times, usually, like, do I have? Yeah, I have. So I have the Masterverse version over here. You can see with the Masterverse version, they sculpted in her wand in like a clear purple plastic, and that way they painted the wand part and left the crystal ball unpainted. And you see it; it makes it glow kind of eerily, which I like. But they didn't do that with this one. I'm guessing probably since this is more intended as a child's toy than a collector piece, then maybe they didn't want the staff itself, the actual wand part of the wand, to get scuffed up when kids were putting it in her hand. And then she does come with the shaping staff. And here's that. And you can see that is molded in a pale, again, kind of pearlescent kind of plastic, so it's slightly metallic, but it's kind of a pale yellow. And then Evil-Lyn herself is held in here with some rubber tabs, but it looks like that rubber tab is already broken, so I don't have to fool with it. The one around her wrist. She only has a rubber tab around one wrist, and then around the ankles. And it looks like that's all the rubber tabs I have to deal with, thankfully. All right. So, as I mentioned before, I have a major gripe about this figure. And that is, what do we see that's missing? And recall, this is supposed to be the Filmation version of Evil-Lyn. I will give you a hint. It's even depicted on the package. She doesn't have a cape. That's right. So I'm going to have to make a cape for Evil-Lyn. Funny thing is, they did kind of sculpt in this black piece along the back so that it looks like from the front you can see her cape, but she doesn't actually have a cape. So I don't know why they didn't give her a cape. I guess they must have just cheaped out on it. I don't know. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to attach a cape to this figure. I'm probably gonna just use some double-sided tape and stick some fabric back there. I think that's gonna be the easiest way to do that. But I'm very disappointed that Mattel chose not to give Evil-Lyn a cape. I think that, I didn't really mind so much. Like, with the Origins versions, those were the Origins one was based on the toy, and of course the toy didn't come with a cape, so it made sense that that one didn't come with a cape. Even the 2000X version that they made, the 2000X figure didn't come with a cape. I don't think. I wouldn't really know because I didn't ever find that one at retail, Mattel. So, but I do really like the sculpt of this figure. The head sculpt, it does look very much like, again, how she looked on the Filmation cartoon. A lot of the costume details are accurate. I noticed on the Prince Adam figure that figure had wraps around the boots. I don't remember if I'd noticed that on Tila before, but she has the wraps around the boots as well. Which, to me, is, again, it's strange because they didn't have wraps around the boots on the cartoon. So I don't know why they've got them on these, especially because to me it looks like it's a new sculpt, because that fur does look a little more detailed than what I remember on the original Origins figure. I could be wrong about that. I'll check and make sure. She does have the little pamphlet that shows how the figure comes apart, so the figure should allegedly come apart, but her arms are in there pretty solid. So, well, that's good. I'd rather the arms just not be removable than be as easily removable as they were on the original Origins figure. She does have the same kind of thing with Tila going on, where like her breastplate is like this soft rubber. Probably because they wanted to use the same torso for both figures, and they would have different torsos. Even though the original Evil-Lyn used the parts from the original Tila, they redesigned both characters on the cartoon, as you can see, so their costumes would not be identical. They do have the same sort of breastplate that looks kind of like ram horns, but everything else is different. The shape of the collar is different. The belt is different. In fact, Tila doesn't even have a belt on the original animation model. The armor over the tummy and the pelvis is different. So, and remember, I've mentioned this many times. The Filmation design of Tila was recycled. They modified and reused the model sheets of Princess Aura from the Flash Gordon cartoon. Probably reused a lot of that same animation for Evil-Lyn, since like the same walks and everything. But you can see, since this is like a soft rubber, you can kind of remove this breastplate, which is unusual for a female figure. Although it doesn't seem quite as rubbery as with Tila. But I'll go ahead and try to get it off anyway. I'm going to have to get it off of her anyway at some point because of the cape situation. But you can see with her, they did paint in a little bit of a brassiere underneath to preserve her modesty. She does have breasts sculpted underneath. I don't remember Tila having that. I don't know. Did I take Tila's all the way off? I thought I did. Oh well, whatever. I'm not going to take this one all the way off. Although if you want to take it off, then go ahead and do that. So that's what she looks like without the breastplate. So just almost like a little bathing suit top. Kind of reminds me a lot of Jessica Rabbit's dress. The way it just kind of went up the front and just left her entire back exposed. So yeah, you can take off her armor. I probably should have just taking it off at the bottom to begin with and not bothered with trying to stretch out her collar. So probably what I'm going to do when I make the cape is I'm going to take a piece of fabric, just cut out a piece of fabric in like a cape shape, and use some double-sided tape and kind of stick it on the inside of her breastplate. It almost looks like this little piece here was designed to attach a cape to anyway, and Mattel just kind of cheaped out on it. So I'll probably just cut like a little, almost sort of semicircle piece out of some black spandex, double-sided tape, stick it to the back. Should be easy peasy, and then I should have a cape for my Evil-Lyn. So I shouldn't have to do that. Mattel should have done that in the first place. Shame on you, Mattel, for not doing that. All right. Her belt looks a lot thinner, almost like a little string than what I remember it being on the cartoon. I remember her belt being more sort of like a belt shape. I don't know. Let's talk about articulation now. So Evil-Lyn can look up about that far. She can look down about that far and turn her head all the way around. She can kind of tilt her head quizzically from side to side. Arms, of course, rotate all the way around at the shoulder. All it does seem like it got a little gummy there. The joint must be getting kind of hung up on something. Arms can move up about that far. We got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, bends about that far, straightens out about that far, and of course it rotates all the way around. She does rotate all the way around at the waist. We already saw that the waist comes apart. Evil-Lyn can kick forward about that far and kick backward about that far, give or take. She can do the splits no problem. She got a single joint of articulation at the knee, bends about that far and rotates all the way around. She's got a boot cut that rotates all the way around. She got an ankle that points down about that far, points up about that far, and of course the ankle rotates all the way around. So that is the articulation on this girl. So let's have a look at these accessories. So she does come with the wand. So if you want to display Evil-Lyn with her traditional weapon, there she is with that. And twist and turn her into powerful battle positions. And then the shaping staff. So there she is with the shaping staff. And we can probably get her into a two-handed grip with that one. It's long enough. So you can get her into a two-handed grip with that one. I don't think the wand would really be good enough, long enough for a two-handed grip, since it is just the shorter version of the wand. But well, I think I might be able to do it. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah, but I mean, what's the point of it when it's that short, you know? Evil-Lyn is a pretty cool figure. I like the colors on her. I don't know if the skin color is quite right, because I remember her being like a little more like a pale Caucasian color on that, but I do think it was slightly yellow, just not quite as yellow as this. I don't know. I could be wrong. Like it might just be because of the old TV I was watching this thing on when I was a kid, and it might also be, you know, because just hazy memories. It might be because you know, the figure was a lot more of a canary yellow than she was on the show at all. Let me look it up on the computer. Evil-Lyn Filmation. There we go. But yeah, like I do remember when I watched the cartoon noticing that she wasn't quite as yellow as the action figure. She looks yellowish enough on the cartoon. So it might have just been contrast in my childlike mind, since it looked more like a human skin color on the show than the toy did. I just kind of filled it in that way with my brain. But no, she looks pretty yellow on the cartoon. I must have just seriously underestimated that shade of yellow. But she's got the same sort of like purple outfit that she had on the cartoon, which the original toy, if you remember, her outfit was navy blue with light blue accents, and this is more purple with the light blue accents. Personally, I prefer the purple because purple is more of the traditional villain color. So I do think that purple is more appropriate for Evil-Lyn, and it certainly more aligns her visually with Skeletor, since Skeletor's outfit is purple and his skin is blue. So he's kind of like it almost looks like he's wearing a blue outfit with purple accents because of that. She has a purple outfit with blue accents, so it's complementary. It's that they match, but in opposite ways. Like he's prominently blue with some purple. She's prominently purple with some blue, at least as far as her costume goes. And the yellow makes sense because Skeletor's skull is yellow, so they have a similar color scheme. But it's just kind of like puts emphasis on he's got a little bit of yellow, she's got a lot of yellow. Most of her outfit is purple, most of his outfit is blue. If you count the I don't have the Origins version here, but you can see with the Masterverse version, you can see what I'm talking about. So they work together pretty well. So and we'll get another shot of her next to Teela, so we can see the similarities and the differences between those two figures. So they did a good job with both, I think. I'm pretty happy with her for the most part. I'm just irritated that she doesn't have a cape. She really should have had a cape. And like if you're somebody like me who's good at crafty type stuff, and you can make a cape for her, it's really not that big a deal. I should be able to do it quite easily. But should I have to? And the answer is no. She should have just came with one. It's just a little piece of fabric, guys. Just cut a little piece of fabric out. It might cost you an extra, half a cent for every action figure that you make to go ahead and give her a cape. Like it's not that big a deal. So, what you could have made it a cheap vinyl, like the old Star Wars figures had. This little thing that it could have been like a crappy cheap little cape, like the necktie shaped things that the Spin Master figures have. And I wouldn't have complained. I would have been, this cape could be better, but at least she has one. So, but I'll make her a cape, and it'll probably be better than anything Mattel would have made anyway. So I'll be the winner at the end, is what I'm saying. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Evil-Lyn, both the figure and the character in general. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.